Hello everyone, Zeldarinth here, and for today's video on Umamusume, as the Aries Cup pre-registrations have started, I thought now would be a great time to kind of take a look at the next Champions meeting they'll be dropping, so you can kind of get your parents and stuff prepared, as well as think about what aces you may want to bring. And with Aries Cup, that is going to be the final one of the Zodiac signs, so we are now actually going to be going back from the beginning of where we started on the Zodiac signs, with the very first Champions meeting we had, which was Taurus Cup. Now, even though we will be going through the same naming convention, it's not always going to be the same Champions meeting. But in the case of Taurus Cup, it is going to be an exact repeat of what our very first Champions meeting was, which was Tokyo Turf 2400. It's a medium track, left-handed, firm, spring, and sunny. Now, so there's no changes to the weather on it because it was firm, spring, and sunny on our first one as well, as you can see up here with the original Taurus Cup. And so pretty much most of what applied to the original Taurus will apply here, but now we have a lot more Umas as well as inherits available that are going to make it much different, as well as now having the November update that gave us the first anniversary updates. They kind of changed some things with one specific inherit that was good on the original Taurus Cup that will not be good for this one. And so if we want to take a look at the racetrack here, and if you remember this one, the biggest thing with this one is it basically, the late race starts just before the fourth corner starts here. But another big thing is you can see here, 777's right on the final corner. And so a lot of accelerations are going to be available to everybody. Now, one to just make note of that was originally good was Taiki Shuttles, but with Taiki Shuttles changes to be now for the second half of the final corner, it'll no longer be a good inherit to have for acceleration. But outside of that, pretty much everything else will continue to be just as good as it was originally before, plus the new ones we have. And so the first one we'll talk about here is right off the bat, the one that is going to, I think, make this one a you can use any Uma alt inherit, and that is the Maruzensky alt. So Schurz is right at that final corner right here. And so Maruzensky is from first through fifth place. And pretty much every single position, even end closers, that is something that you could actually attain, and thus pretty much makes every single position able to be very, very strong on this track, as long as you build them in a proper way and you have Maruzensky's alt on them. Also, at the final corner being like right there, you have all the others. You have Major Orion's. That's really, really good. That was really good on the first one as well. And with your end closers, you pair that one with Maruzensky's, and now you have first through fifth place or sixth place covered. You have, of course, now we have angling and scheming, which we didn't have back then. So your front runners are really good shape because now they can pair angling and scheming with Maruzensky's, and they can now have a 0.4 acceleration if you have Singing Sky, a 0.6. So very strong acceleration on your front runners here. Your pace chasers, of course, are very likely to be in that first through fifth place to get the 0.2. Late surgers, you could theoretically use the gamble skills alongside now having the Maruzensky one in there. So pretty much all options are going to be available on this. So I liked the term. I think I heard someone say that I think Victoria Frontier referred to it as the Oshi Cup, because you can make anybody work. If they're very strong, you get your acceleration off Maruzensky, and you can outright win with anyone. Now, of course, your strongest, or what I would probably consider be the meta Umas, are going to be the ones that have the, like, Maruzensky original. Very strong because she has the original alt, so it's a 0.4 acceleration. And so she'll be crazy strong on this one. And especially if you want to try and build her as even like a pace chaser or even maybe a late surger, getting that 0.4 can make her very, very strong. We've seen her capabilities when you build her in one of those back end positions, but she can still take advantage of her alt, which is very, very strong. Of course, all your front runners are going to be very strong. They should easily get hers off, even if they miss angling and scheming. So even if your Uma's not completely in the front, if it is an overall stronger one on the end game of it, they might be able to win just from taking advantage of Maruzensky's if the first place one was a little bit weaker. So all around, very, very good track here. Now it is 2400. We're just going to be coming off the 2000 meter one. A lot of what we've been working with the Track Blazer. One question people I've seen asked was, could you just use your Umas from the previous one in this one? And you already know right off the bat from how strong Maruzenski's is on this one versus the last one that no, I would not try and bring your ones from the last one just for that reason, but also for stamina reasons. So this one's going to be a little bit more demanding on stamina. I know a lot of us for the Nakayama 2000 have been going heavily on the 2 power, 2 wit, 2 speed to get really high or pretty much close to max speed, power, and wit with enough stamina. That'll be much, much harder to attain on this one, and it's going to be much safer to, on this one, bring a sustain or a heal versus trying to just get enough stamina to survive it. And so your deck might be a little bit different depending on your needs, whatever position you're playing as. Now, there's a lot of options out there that are now available. I'll probably do a more in-depth one here after we finish Aries Cup on looking at some of the meta options in terms of Umas and all that, other than just kind of discussing what we have here. But this one is quite exciting. Now, there will be another alt inherit that I think will be, I've already talked a little bit about, that'll be quite strong on the Tokyo racetracks, but most specifically this one. And it's going to be very strong for your front runners as kind of a winning, to me, like kind of a winning condition, especially to help them out since they are going to be having a lot more competition from the back end, having an easier acceleration. And that is going to be the Ines Fujin inherit. And so I know a lot of people, she's not going to be a big pickup for a lot of people because to me, she's more of a whale option, not only for her good inherits that she has, but her alt inherit is very specific to being strong on the Tokyo track, more specifically the 2400, as well as I believe the 2000 meter one. Basically all Tokyos. And her biggest reason is because she gets the equivalent of a triumphant pulse speed increase or a 0.45 if she's coming off an uphill at the 300 meter mark, which is Tokyo, of course. So it only is good there, and on inherit, that's a 0.25 or 3 seconds if you're in the first 2 positions. So it is a very strong winning condition for your front runners to help them continue to maintain a high speed, especially when you have like late surgers that might be able to get Maruzenski's off, as well as their own gamble accelerations. But that could be enough to outright win it. So I feel like hers is going to be very important to try and get if you can. Of course, you'll want to try and borrow whoever builds like a strong parent or Ines Fujin, which I'm going to try and do when she drops. I will be working on getting a grandparent version of her out as soon as possible for myself. But I think it'll be a very good inherit to try and establish a strong frontrunner. Because I feel like frontrunners are still going to be the dominant ones on this one, even though everybody can work. You just have to build them very strong. And her alt, to me, is going to be one of those things that's just kind of a winning condition, alongside having Maruzenski and Seiyun Sky's angling and scheming alts. So they'll have a very consistent 0.4 acceleration if you're in first place, and then just that extra speed boost to outright win it at the end. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Taurus Cup. It is the first champions meeting that I lost. Kind of sucked with that one because they did not give out the titles to anybody if they got third or second place. Only the winners, whether it was Group A or Group B, got titles. So this will be at least my chance to get some titles out of it. We'll see how well I do, but I am excited to do it. This one is definitely a lot better than the Nakayama 2000, or you can just call it Christmas Ogre Cap. Now, this one is also Christmas Ogre Cap strong too. I kind of haven't mentioned it here, but as you can see, 777s is right there. So she can not only get Maruzenski's alt off, but she can also pop hers alt off right here at the 777s and just launch with hers and that one. Now, it's not got speed carryover on that case, but it's got a lot of acceleration, and she should accelerate and then push up max speed because it's built-in speed on her alt as well. And then not needing to bring a heal will make her still continue to be very, very strong, just not dominant or consistent, because if you want to go with the 777 route, you need to bring 3 heals, not 4, to make it consistently hit on that spot versus it maybe being early or late. Now, you may want to go with 4 heals on her, and yes, you're not always going to get the 777s, but you can use it as a very strong mid-game push skill, and then Christmas Ogre Cap can, of course, then still take advantage of the Maruzenski acceleration here. So you could just always just put 4 on her to make it more consistent that you get a alt, and then you just have her use Maruzenski's alt to accelerate. So overall, I'm really excited to do this. Like I mentioned, we'll have to see what we're working with. My plan is going to probably be a triple front runner. I feel like I said, I feel like front runners are going to be the strongest. And in order to make them the strongest, you're going to need heavier front runner lobbies, which means bringing 3 front runners yourself to really give you that kind of an advantage. But that's going to be it for now. And if you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.